Have you ever been told to trust your gut or had a gut feeling about a big decision? Well, it turns out that's not just a saying. There's a real scientifically proven connection between your stomach and your brain. In fact, some scientists are even calling the gut our second brain. So let's get into it.
You know that feeling. Maybe it's before a huge job interview, or, a first date. That kind of fluttery, nervous sensation right in your stomach. We call it butterflies, and it's a classic response to feeling nervous or excited. But have you ever stopped to think about what's really happening there? Why do we feel our emotions so physically, right in our gut? And that really is the key. That feeling isn't just something you're imagining. It's a direct signal traveling from your brain down to your gut. But here's the wild part, and this is what we're really going to dig into today. It's not a one-way street. Your gut actually talks back.
So how does this whole thing actually work? Well, that gut feeling, it's all part of this super complex and very real communication network. It's not just in your head, and it's not just a stomachache. It's in both, and they are talking to each other constantly.
I mean, think about it like they're on the phone 24/7. Your brain sends messages down to your gut, controlling stuff like digestion. That part probably isn't a huge surprise. But here's the mind-blowing bit. Your gut is sending a ton of signals up to your brain. And those signals influence everything from your mood to your thoughts.
Okay, so how is this all happening? How are these messages getting through? Turns out there's this incredible biological superhighway that makes it all work. Scientists have a name for it, and it's completely changing how we understand our health.
It's called the microbiome gut-brain axis. And yeah, I know that's a bit of a mouthful. But the word you really want to focus on here is bidirectional. All that means is that the information is flowing both ways, connecting your brain with your gut. It's a true partnership.
Yeah, this really shows what we're talking about with that two-way traffic. Most of us get the top-down part, right? You get super stressed out about something and bam, suddenly your stomach is in knots. That's your brain talking down to your gut. But it's that bottom-up communication, that's where the science is just getting, revolutionary.
All right, but how are these signals physically traveling? Well, the main phone line, if you will, is something called the vagus nerve. It's this huge nerve that runs all the way from your brainstem down into your abdomen. Seriously, you can think of it like a super high-speed fiber optic cable, sending massive amounts of data back and forth in real time. Okay, to really get a handle on this bottom-up signaling, we have to take a closer look at the gut itself, because it is so much more than just a tube for your food. It's an incredibly complex, intelligent ecosystem. And there's a very good reason it's earned that nickname, our second brain.
So first up, let's talk about the residents. Your gut is home to, get this, trillions of tiny microorganisms. That's more than the number of human cells in your entire body. And this huge, bustling community of bacteria, viruses, and fungi, it's one of the main characters in our story today.
And then there's the gut's own built-in intelligence. See, embedded right in the walls of your gut is something called the enteric nervous system, or ENS for short. And it's a massive network. We're talking over 500 million neurons. That's more than you have in your whole spinal cord. And what's just incredible is that the ENS can actually run the whole show of digestion by itself without any micromanaging from the brain.
So, okay, when you put it all together, this massive microbial city and this powerful independent nervous system, you start to see why the gut isn't just, plumbing. That complexity, that independence, that's exactly why it gets called our second brain.
All right, so we've got the physical connection, that's the vagus nerve, and we've got this amazingly smart ecosystem in the gut. But what are they actually saying to each other? What's the language? Well, the gut doesn't speak in words. It speaks in chemistry. Its language is made of molecules. Remember those trillions of microbes we were just talking about? Well, they're not just hanging out. They are tiny, non-stop chemical factories. They take the food you eat and turn it into all sorts of chemical compounds, neurotransmitters, metabolites, and these are basically the text messages that your gut is constantly sending up to your brain.
And this right here, this shows you just how powerful those chemical messages can be. Let's take serotonin, for example. We all know it as the happy molecule, right? It helps regulate our mood. Now, where do you think most of it comes from? If you said the brain, you'd be wrong. Over 90% of your body's serotonin is actually made and stored in your gut. I mean, that is a wild fact. That is totally changing how we approach mental health.
And hey, serotonin is just the beginning. These gut microbes also produce something called GABA, which, helps keep us calm.
And they create other cool stuff like short-chain fatty acids, or SCFAs for short. These things are super powerful anti-inflammatories that can travel all the way to the brain and protect it.
Okay, so why does any of this matter to you in your day-to-day life? Because this isn't just some cool science fact. This is a system that you can actually have an impact on. Understanding this connection gives us really powerful new ways to think about our own health, both physical and mental.
See, when that delicate balance of microbes in your gut gets all messed up, scientists have a word for it, dysbiosis. That whole conversation with your brain can start to break down. It's like getting bad cell reception. And this imbalance isn't just a minor issue, it's now being linked to a whole range of serious health problems.
I mean, the health conditions now being linked to an unbalanced gut are really serious. We're seeing incredibly strong connections to mental health issues like depression and anxiety, but that's not even the whole story. New research is even linking it to neurodegenerative diseases like Parkinson's, Alzheimer's, and MS. It just goes to show you how absolutely crucial that gut-brain conversation is.
Okay, I know that can sound a little intimidating, but here's the best part of this whole story. The most hopeful part. This communication network, it's not fixed, it's not set in stone. It's constantly changing based on what you eat, how stressed you are, your whole lifestyle. And that means you have the power to influence the conversation.
So, what can you actually do to support a healthier gut-brain connection? Well, the research points to a few main things. First up is diet, obviously. Adding in probiotics, that's the good bacteria you find in things like yogurt or kimchi, and also prebiotics, which is basically the food for that good bacteria, is a great start. Second, you've got to manage your stress. We know stress messes with your gut from the top down, so things like meditation or just taking a walk can make a huge difference. And finally, don't forget the basics. Getting enough sleep and moving your body, they also play a massive role in keeping this whole system happy.
So, the next time you feel those butterflies, or you just have that unshakable gut feeling about something, take a second and remember what's actually going on under the surface. It's a very real, very complex message coming from your second brain. The science is making it crystal clear that our gut and our brain are in this thing together. The only real question left is, are you listening to what yours is trying to tell you?